Okay, I'm gonna just, yeah, weird artifact, won't be long. I noticed the other day there was a little problem. So hey everybody, we're starting our live show, won't be very long. I'm just gonna, and I'm gonna do this, and I believe everything will be fine. Yep, fixes the problem. I'm getting used to a few glitches in the software. Things are nice. Yep, smooth. Pretty cool. Okay, so here we are. Live show. And we're starting up with our live. Yeah, this is good. Seems clear and crisp. Pretty cool. So, hey everyone. Welcome to our live show from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. This is our live show where every Tuesdays at 3 p.m. we talk about computers. So let's just give a few seconds here. We'll also just post it here so that everything is all right. So live technology show. Welcome everyone. And we are starting now our live show. Last week, unfortunately, we had a little bit of problems. So now it should be fixed. So computers, hashtag Windows 10, hashtag MacBook Pro. Here we go. Let's start the live show. So hey everyone, welcome. Located, of course, in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We're trying to see if everything is all right. I seem to be streaming okay. I don't see a number. That is what is very weird. So I'll just check it out here and see if I can view my stream from the official Windows channel live stuff. I don't know why it doesn't say anything here. So I said live, it doesn't show up, and that is very, very weird. Live. Interesting. My live show doesn't show up. So let's stop and start the stream again. This is very bizarre. Very bizarre. I'm supposed to be live. I cut the dashboard. Yep. Dashboard says I am live, yet I'm not. Here we go. So let's start again. There we go. Live stream. Back online. I don't know, for some reason it crashed. So I don't know why it stopped. Let me just check if I can see the live stream from the YouTube Live platform. And if I go to YouTube Live, that is a very, very bizarre because it doesn't show up, unfortunately. So that is kind of weird. And apparently, according to here, one person, I'm going to check it out, see if it shows up. Very weird. I can see that my stream says it's live, things say it's live, but it's like if I'm not totally live. The output settings, we are doing it to our We are doing it with Learn Windows 10 and computers, so it should be okay. I'll remove the recording thing here. I don't understand why. Let me just check here, and only one person is watching. So it seems to be that there's something wrong, so I'm going to reconnect. So let's go back out. When I authenticate, output settings, it says that it's going run Windows 10 and computers. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's not supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be okay. I'm supposed to be live right now, and I am at a certain point, but I'm not live on the regular feed channel. Very, very bizarre. Very bizarre. It is live. I don't get it. If I look at where, information, education, options, this is weird. Definitely. Definitely. So if I go here, it brings me here, and this is Learn Windows 10 and Computers. That's so weird, but it doesn't show up here. So we're going to do it like this. Sorry guys, we're taking a little time. I'm going to post what is the link to me. Definitely. Because, wow. I don't understand why it's not showing up. There's some kind of glitch on YouTube, I guess. And it's not showing up correctly. So I'm going to do this. Oops, I'm going to do this. So sorry everyone. I am having an issue here. And so basically, this is bizarre. This is bizarre. Really bizarre. I don't know why it's happening like this. And basically, I'm supposed to be live. If I look at the dashboard, I'm live. Everything's okay. It even shows the right channel. And I'm not there. So for some reason, something's wrong with YouTube, the way it's doing it. So I guess I'll paste it like this. This is where it's working right now. I don't know why it's not working on the live when you do it on the channel itself. It seems that it doesn't want to work for some reason. So hey everyone, sorry for the problem. Live show is on air, so I'm gonna do it as if I was on live. At least the recorded show is gonna be there. Because I'm going to do the show as usual. The show must go on, as they say. This is so bizarre. This is what, the third third time that I'm doing a live. This has not happened on the other times that I've done it. It always was fine and worked fine. So this is very, very, very interesting. I guess, it says beta on the YouTube live stuff, so I guess for some reason it doesn't show up here. This is very, very weird. There we go. Okay, we're live. Yeah, so it's supposed to work, and hopefully it will. Hopefully I will be recorded on the show. So sorry guys, we're starting the show. I'm probably not going to be live for a lot of people. And very, very bizarre. Says it's private with a red face. Let me check this out. Maybe you're pointing me in the right direction here. Output settings, 1080p, authenticate. This is supposed to be okay. I edited this. This is okay. Here is okay. And you guys say it says that it's private when it's not supposed to. Let's just check that out. Okay, I'm gonna quit. I'm supposed to be live in a few seconds. So, sorry everyone. I guess the live stuff, for some reason, it's not live, and I don't know why. I do see some people logging on and that can see me, but not everybody, and I'm going crazy here because it shows that I'm live. It shows the correct information. It shows Learn Windows 10 and computers. Let's just see if I go to here and paste the link. What does it say? If I paste the link, this video is private. It does say that. That is interesting. Why is it says private? Okay, here we go. Public. Okay, here we go. I think we found out what's the problem. Let me just go back to YouTube and see if YouTube/live works for everyone. Yeah, we are on the air. Man, one little setting, and we are here. So, hey everyone, we are live. What's happening is that there's a small setting in the options, and basically that setting is preventing me from actually broadcasting correctly, and that setting was just changed for some reason. I never touched it, so I had to go through the Wirecast software and check every little detail to make sure that it was working correctly. So sorry about that. We have a little 15-minute delay, but show will go on as usual. Wow, this is incredible. So welcome everyone. We are, this is Live Tech Show. This is Tech Show number 43 for Tuesday, September 6th, 2016. And we are now live after a 15-minute little problem. It was stuck on private mode and I couldn't unstuck it. So I restarted and everything is okay. Everything is okay now. Should be okay. So hi everyone. We are a little late, but we're here. And we are, of course, going to answer the questions of everybody. We are live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and I am, of course, streaming with YouTube Live. Little glitches, you know, YouTube Live is in beta form, and I think there are glitches that sometimes happen. So hopefully we're going to be okay for the rest of the show. We're live from Montreal, Canada. I'm a tech guy. My name is Gilles, and of course, we will talk about technology. And basically, we will answer your questions. Where do you send your questions? Help with your computers at gmail.com. The email you see here, that's the place where you send your questions. And we are now going to be live after fixing a few glitches. You know, it's funny because it's a glitch you can't see until you start streaming. I, set up everything 30 minutes before, looked at every setting, everything looked okay. I could see myself. I could see that I was streaming, but nobody could see me. It was very, very weird. I had to change some settings, close Wirecast, restarted, and now it's okay. But, I'm learning a lot of things here because it's letting me see all the little things that can happen and the glitches. And so at least, I can look at more of the options. I know where to look at the different options if something goes on and it doesn't work well. So we're in 1080p, which is really nice. We are officially in 1080p. I think Tim Robinson says looking good so far, and sound is good. So really nice. And welcome everyone to this live show, even though a little bit late due to the glitches we had. So, if you enjoy our live shows, of course, we have donations that are possible. If you want to support what I do and try to have as little glitches as possible, patreon.com/radio and computers. This is a place where you can pledge one amount. You can pledge an amount for each live shows that I post or do. And it helps us, of course, a lot. You can pledge from 1 penny to whatever amount you want. It's charged the first of the month. And you can get out of it anytime you want. Don't worry. There's no problem here. It's very, very... it's done honestly, and I try to do my best to do these live shows and bring some content to all of you. You can also send a PayPal donation at the email address, the Yahoo email address you have at the bottom of the screen. Thank you very much for everybody that is pledging already. And why not think about it if I've helped you in any way. And we will now start with a little bit of Outlook stuff because we have two persons that are a little panicked, but for the wrong reasons. And also because I am finally at the Outlook mail. I finally had my Outlook account go from the old Outlook to Outlook Mail now. It is a little different, the colors have changed. It says Outlook Mail on the upper left. The inbox, the way it shows up, is a little different also. I like it. It's okay, but there's nothing major. It's email. There's really nothing major there. But here's a few things. Two person are going a little crazy over the Outlook and Outlook Mail, and basically these people are actually going crazy for absolutely the wrong reason. So Mary Ellen Parker tells me, "Be glad that you haven't been moved over to Outlook Mail. I swear it is the worst thing ever related to spam." Now she says it's granted they show up in my junk folder, and that's the thing. I don't see a problem because the junk folder is there for that. It's not because of the new platform. Nothing changed in the new platform, by the way, on the spam filters and everything. Nothing. Now, here's the thing, and you know what? You're not alone. We also have Rob that says that he's seeing more spam on one of his emails, but he's still on the old one. So to give you an idea, he's still on the old Hotmail, Outlook. He's not even advanced. He says in the message he's not advanced. So here is the thing, okay? First of all, what is normal? Everybody gets spam, and some get more than others. And it is not related to the fact that you moved on to another platform. It's not the fact that they've upgraded the Outlook to Outlook Mail. Has nothing to do with it. Spam varies depending on all sorts of factors. If you send emails out, your email address is scooped out everywhere. Okay? Email is not secure. It's not encrypted. Your email is in open format when it's going everywhere. So here's the thing. The junk mail, if all the spam you get is in the junk mail folder, there's no problem. And I've seen, because you've replied another message saying that you're searching for a solution. There ain't no solution because it ain't a problem. That is the thing. And you should not be looking into the junk mail. You should not even care about it. I get about 100 to 150 a day in almost all of my emails. Why? Because my email is used a lot. And the more you'll write and the more you send out emails, you'll see the more spam you get. Because it has the fact that your email is scooped up everywhere. It is the fact that your email can be in a computer of somebody that's infected, so your email got scooped up by bad guys. You shouldn't look into the junk mail unless you think maybe somebody sent you something and you got in the junk mail. But you know what? Don't start looking in the junk mail. Don't take the time to remove it. It doesn't take space in your email. It's something that shouldn't be there. What you're doing is basically telling me I've got a trash can and it is 60% full of trash, and you're going to open the trash can and look at everything that you throw out and that your family threw out. Are you looking into your trash can to look if there's something in there? The only times you do that is when you throw out something and 2 days later, or a few hours later, you're like, oh my God, I threw out something that I should not. It's the exceptional moment where you're looking into your trash can to find something you threw out. But you're not looking into your trash in your home. Never. You just ignore it. It's where trash goes. That's a junk mail folder. It's trash. And you know what? It's actually really good because you're not getting the trash inside your inbox. If it was in your inbox, now you got a damn problem. But it's not in your inbox. It's in the junk folder. It's working great. Stop worrying about it. And you know what? You're not alone. Not only 2 people here with Rob, but in my own clients over the years, from time to time, I would see somebody saying, oh, I'm going crazy. I'm spending hours in the evening to empty my junk mail folder. And the first thing that I always say is, why are you doing that? It's not meant for you to go in there or do anything. The only reason they put the junk mail folder, the only reason is if you ever think that somebody has sent you a piece of email and you haven't received it. Now you can go into the junk mail and see if by chance it might have been moved there. But don't go through your email. Don't go through the junk. Just stay in your inbox or in the places like that. Junk mail does not take any space. It's not something that they use in the counting of how many emails you have in your email box. It's there to be ignored most of the time. It's just not something you should go into. Stop spending time going through it and emptying your junk mail. You're wasting time for nothing, for absolutely no reason. So don't go crazy over your junk mail, Mary and Rob. You know, I've got tons of it. It's the same thing. Also, Mary Ellen sent me a link because she's thinking of the problem and she's trying to search for a solution, once again, to a problem that's not a problem. And she sent me another email, and the other email is because what's probably one of the most, I'd say the most, what gets people mixed up is the fact that Outlook, and that's why I called it Outlook and Outlook. When you are in Outlook Mail on the web, that's one Outlook service, Outlook.com. But in Office, in Microsoft Office, there's a piece of software that's called Outlook. The second message you sent me about what does this mean is because that has to do with Outlook, the app that comes from Office, and its relation with the Exchange servers at Microsoft. Has nothing to do with, one, the problem you have, has nothing to do with anything. If you would actually get this, for example, if I would configure my Outlook app, because I have it here in this PC, and look at the junk mail folder, it'd still be full of junk. It wouldn't change anything. It has its own spam filter, but the spam filter doesn't prevent the junk mail from coming to you. It just puts it into that special junk folder. And that's the thing. It will always be there. The junk folder is there for that. And so stop worrying about it. So there's, you know, that gets a lot of people kind of a little messed up because they're like, I've got the Outlook, and they're talking about Outlook, and I don't see the settings, or I don't understand what they're asking. That's because you have Outlook.com, which is the web mail service, but the Outlook app or program, which is the client for receiving email. It's two different and two separate things. So, you know, and the spam going into the junk folder, perfect. You don't have a problem. Stop seeing a problem where there aren't any problems. Really no problem there. Like I said, if it was in your inbox, that would be a problem. It's not. And what you need to know, like I said, every time, for example, I write a lot of emails, and I notice that when I, for example, if in one day I send out 10 or 15 emails, I will have usually in the days that are after that sending of emails, an increase, a good increase in spam in the junk mail folder. Why? Because the email address gets cooped up everywhere. So don't worry, Rob and Mary Ellen, it's perfect. You're not having any issues. Don't worry about it. Okay? It's just perfect. Things are going well, and there's really no problem with your email. Don't look for a solution for something that's not a problem, for sure. So what else do we have? Let's continue on. Windows 10 reset this PC. Will I love everything? Will I? Will I lose everything? I don't know why I wrote love. I must be in love here. Will I lose everything? Is that first phrase here? That makes me laugh. That's it. When you're not looking through over and over again, these little errors that come. You're thinking about something and you write it down. Okay, so first I want to address a little bit of two things. Viper the Bookman, now he had some problems. He reset his computer and it fixed some of the problems, including Cortana. So yeah, that is a good idea. You know, resetting the computer does really help in when you have problems, and it often fixes a lot of things. Another thing that you're saying is that when you reset, you're wondering why you've got like 6 updates since the reset, and you're wondering if it's not because updates are not working or not. And don't worry about it, because the thing is, remember that there are cumulative updates, and what you should be checking is not how many updates you have. What you need to be checking when you actually go to the updates in your Windows 10 PC, you need to check if the updates you have, okay, and I'm going to tell you, my latest updates here that I got is, let me just check it out. You should see an update that is KB 3176938. You should see KB 3176934 cumulative updates, something like that. But at least the latest cumulative update, which is dated August 31st, is KB 3176938. That's okay. Now there's a new one that appeared on from what I see here, September 1st Flash Player update. But if you have KB 3176938, it's all right. And remember that Windows 10 is not like Windows 7 or previous versions of Windows like Windows 8. It doesn't have 256 million updates to show you. It doesn't work like that. It is cumulative updates, so it's big packages of updates that it's really big packages of updates that have almost everything inside it, everything from a certain point in time, and that's why they're called cumulative. So you're not going to have 100 updates if you update in a year. You'll have 10 updates, one of them being a very big chunk cumulative update that's gonna be here for sure. So don't worry about it. I think it's fine, and you'll see it next week as we get into Patch Tuesday in next week. Next week will be the second Tuesday, so you'll have updates next week, and that will be quite all right, basically. So don't worry about it. I think it's fine. So it's okay. There's a question that I get asked all the time, and I get asked 1,000,000 times on the channel. Will I lose everything? Not love. Will I lose everything if I reset the PC? No, you don't. You choose. You'll have 2 options. When you go to reset this PC, 2 options are available. Keep my files, keep my stuff, or remove everything. It's up to you to choose what option you're getting here. And it does fix a lot of problems, a lot of issues. Very often a reset fixes most things. I always prefer a complete reset, one where you erase everything, because a lot of people reset and keep the stuff. And then they say, well, I have problems in Windows. I reset and I still have problems. You might reset with everything removed. You might see that the problems are gone. Sometimes it's the software that you've got installed that causes problems. Do I need a DVD or a USB or anything? No, there's an image already in your PC for that. So you shouldn't need anything. So let's continue with our day of live shows. And by the way, at 6 p.m. tonight, we have our Learn the Tech show. That's 2200 hours UT. Tonight is the history of Apple computers. Very interesting history. And I actually read the story a few times because I really wanted to get really the full grasp of everything. So tonight at 6 p.m., Learn the Tech. Hope you can join us. And we continue on with our questions. And the questions that we have, okay, there are a few things. First, I'm going to answer Tim Robinson that had a question. I believe it's from last week. Wondering if there's, any software that is good to use. Is Microsoft Lumia 640 as a webcam? I've looked into this a few times and the results are mixed at best. I would really appreciate a point in the right direction, as apps for Windows Phone are rather lacking these days. Okay, the first question I would ask is, why do you want to use it as a webcam? Because it's not meant to do so. And the reason it's not meant to do so is that it's meant to take video, HD video, and stuff like that within the device itself. But it was never thought of as being a device that's connected to a computer that is a webcam. And it can maybe do it in some cases through your Wi-Fi network. The thing is, it adds kind of a heaviness to the thing. Remember one thing, a webcam does one sole thing: take video and stream it, like this. My Logitech C920 that I'm using now does that, and that's it. When you think about it, okay? You take your Lumia phone and you decide you want to be a webcam. It's like asking a computer with a camera that already does a lot of stuff to become what just a standalone camera does. So you're adding one side of, it's a little heavy because it's already doing stuff, and you're asking for a streaming camera at the same time to another device. So it's like adding too much stuff together, and that's why you're not seeing good apps for doing that. And the reason also why I'm asking the question is, what do you want to do exactly? And the reason is simple. Through your Lumia phone, you can Skype, you can YouTube Live, you can do a lot of live stuff as if it was a webcam, because it's a webcam in your phone, technically. So I don't see why the added, I want to do it with the computer as if it was a webcam. I think, I'd like to have an idea of what you want to do. Because if it's mostly to stream, well, you can stream directly off your phone on your Wi-Fi network or through your LTE connection without having anything else. So I just don't understand why somebody would do that. So if you have any reply to that, what would be the added bonus of doing that? I'd like to know. I'd like to know. And using a webcam as a phone as a webcam is kind of not I don't know. I don't see the good idea behind this, really. If it's because you want to stream through your PC instead of through the phone, you're better off buying a cheap webcam. My Logitech C920 is like $60 now. And I paid it like $130 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. So, anyways, if you have a particular reason why you want to do this, I'd like to know. I also have Franco, that is located in Italy and that loves to watch my shows. He says his English is just good enough to follow my show, so he finds it really, really interesting. And the question that he has is, how do you send his contact list from an Android to his brand new iPhone that he's got? The best way to do that would be that on your Android phone, in Android you can already copy all of your contacts through Google services. So make sure you have a Gmail account. And in your Android, you will be able to send the contacts through that Gmail account. And the funny thing is, on your iPhone, simply configure that Gmail email, and you'll see that it's going to ask you on the iPhone, what do you want to synchronize? And one of the options is the contacts. It's as easy as that. And when you use a Gmail or a Google account, it does it like almost instantly. Just make sure that your Android phone is set to sync the contacts, and it's going to do it. It's simply going to do it, basically, to your iPhone. I don't think you need anything special. And we also have Brian, that is located in Florida. And Brian says, "Hi, love your show." And the question he has is, he's using an iPhone 4S. And he says, everybody says, well, you got an old phone, you have to change. Can you give me some reasons why I should change my phone? You're the only one that can answer that question. Does it do what you want, like you want? If it does, why change? You know, why change? Basically. So basically, that's pretty much what answers. You know, I was talking to my nephew, and you know, I've got this Galaxy S7 phone, and I was thinking that I love this phone so much, and it's just so powerful, that when my contract expires in what, a year and a half now, I'm already 6 months into this, I'm not that sure that I'm going to change it immediately, you know, unless there's something really incredible. I am a tech guy, so, you know, of course, I'm saying this, but I know that for some reason, they're going to come out with that, you know, marvelous, extraordinary phone that I'm going to say in a year and a half, I want it. But if there's nothing really fantastic, nothing really incredibly new, I could see myself keep my S7 for a while after that. And so, you know, changing smartphone is, for the most part, purely for the reason, for most people, because it just doesn't do anymore what you need it to do, or it's become too slow to do something. In the case of the 4S, I think you're left out of the new iOS version, for example, that's coming out, I believe, later this month. So if the iPhone 4S cannot get that update, it might prevent you eventually from doing stuff, and now you're going to say, oh, I can't do that anymore. Now maybe you'll think about changing it, but apart from that, it's, you know, you don't have to change your phone all the time, basically. So Tim replied back and says, I only wanted to do this as the camera on the phone is much higher quality than my 640 by 480 camera. That's all, really. All I would say to that is, when you do something like Skyping, do it with your phone, so you'll enjoy that nice higher resolution. And if it's for making videos, simply make the videos with your phone and transfer them to your PC. And so you'll have that quality. I know it's not your computer, but you'll have that quality, and you know, you can do everything with the phone itself. So just use your phone and do it with the phone. You know, it's going to make more usage of your phone, basically. And you know, that's simply what I would do. But you know, I understand a little bit what you want to say here, but you know, Okay, we have MuteZone that sent me this question last year. MuteZone, our Matter Radio DXer, is a follower of my radio channel, and he sent me a question here saying that He's got Windows 10 installed on his PC and it's giving him a lot of stress lately as programs and hardware that worked before are now getting corrupted. I use an SSD drive and Windows 7. I never had these problems, but it is going wrong with Windows 10. Would you recommend going back to Windows 7 or stick with Windows 10? My understanding is Windows 10 is still very much a work in progress, especially with the anniversary updates and users having issue from what I've heard. Now, here's the thing. First of all, Windows 10 is a mature operating system. It's not. A lot of people say, well, you know, all these updates show that it's not finished. It's never going to be finished. It's the way Windows 10 is. But what I do want to mean and say here is that it's a mature and correct operating system. It is not buggy, contrary to, you know, because we hear about everybody that has problems. So it gives this idea to everyone that, oh wow, it's a buggy operating system. It's not. It's actually a pretty solid one. The thing is, of course, some people have problems. Now, one of the things that I would say first is if you've upgraded from 7 to 10 by keeping everything, I would think that the problem is there. You've kept stuff that doesn't work well in Windows 10. So what I would suggest is, if you haven't done it already, scrap everything and reset your PC and the settings with, you know, just Windows 10. Nothing else. Just refresh as if you're formatting your computer. I wouldn't be surprised that things are going to go well after that. I would try that because one of the major issues I would think of all the upgrades from Windows 7 to Windows 10, I would say that the majority of problems that people have, they kept the programs in files and they've got some program that's creating hell inside their computer. So I wouldn't be surprised it could be something like that. It should work fine on your PC. So check that out. Do a refresh, a complete refresh instead. And if it still doesn't want to work well, go back to Windows 7. One thing, at least you'll have Windows 10 pre-activated if you want to try it at a later date on that machine. But you know, if the thing is, try to refresh thing and then go. If it really doesn't work, go back to Windows 7. But I would guess if you haven't tried that, that will work and that will fix and you won't have any issues here. So yeah, but I've got a reply from Mary Ellen Parker. Yeah, but that is not a problem. It's still not a problem. I understand what you're saying, you know, that you got a few of those emails going to the junk folder. But remember, every email in the junk folder, you can click on it and say that it's a legitimate email, that it's an okay email. And Outlook will remember that. Also, make sure that the people that write emails to you, write them in a good fashion. A lot of the emails that go into the junk folder, they go there for a specific reason. People not putting a title in their emails. People not writing in a specific way. You know, these filters look at a way that emails are written. So yeah, and don't worry about what's happening with the smart screen filter is a different thing. That's a totally different thing. Just think that Outlook.com that they're using right now will always have its spam filter. It's always going to be there. So there's not going to be any differences after this November 1st thing. It won't change anything. And oh, you didn't frustrate me at all. Don't worry about it. You know, sometimes that's the thing. I look like somebody that's mad when I'm talking, but I'm not really mad at all. It's just the way that I am. And don't worry about it. It's quite all right. I'm sorry if I look like a mad guy sometimes. I'm not. It's just that, you know, it's not a problem. And I understand the fact that you're losing some emails there, but make sure that every time you get one, that you tag it as a good email, because next time it won't go into the junk. It's going to go into the correct email. And another problem, if you are a business, or if you own a business, or you know, work from home, or work with your Outlook email address, a lot of businesses that send out catalogs, that send out flyers, all sorts of things like that, are almost always in the junk filter. Why? Because another way that things get into the junk filter is that people, instead of, you know, they will, for example, subscribe to an online catalog that they receive, and after a year, they don't want that catalog anymore. And because it's easier, instead of going to that little link that says, hey, I don't want to have these catalogs anymore, they click spam. And after a certain number of people click spam, unfortunately, these goes in the junk mail. So, you know, I understand. I take a look at my junk mail sometimes, because I do know that there are sometimes some emails. But you know what? Try to just not look at the trash. Just quickly go through what you want to find, and what looks legitimate, and the rest, try to ignore it, because it's not, you know, like I say, it's not a problem. Actually, the problem you're having is some legitimate emails are going to the junk, not the other way around. It's not the junk that's a problem. It's that the good emails, some good emails, get into your junk, and that, I understand it. It can be a little frustrating. But, you know, just remember, when you're in the junk and you find a good one, make sure that you tag it as a good email. It will change the status of that email address, and the future emails you get from that email address will be okay. There's also something in the outlook.com. And I'm going to check and make a video of that. It could be a good idea to make one. There's you can list good emails. So, for example, if you receive emails from an example I'll give is at Microsoft.com, but with different people. So they have different names at Microsoft.com, and you start noticing that at Microsoft.com is always going to the junk mail. You can go into your settings in Outlook.com and say, every time I receive from at Microsoft.com, it's always a good email. Never put it in the junk. And if you work like that, you will actually be able to prevent good emails from going into the junk. And also, unfortunately, one of the major problems that email get into the junk email is the lack of knowledge of how to write a correct email. And you know, when people leave the title empty, when the people leave their don't write anything in the body, they just put an attachment and say nothing. Junk filters think that is spam, because spam looks like that. So good luck, and don't worry. After November 1st, nothing is going to change. You will still have. And don't invest in Outlook or something like that. You'll still get the same amount of junk. It won't change anything. So good luck, and sorry if I look mad. I'm not mad at all. Oh, man. Sometimes I get intense. I call it like that because sometimes I get a little intense when I talk about something. And it looks like I'm mad at people, but I'm not. Don't worry. I'm a nice guy, Mary. I can tell you that. Yeah, I'm going a little dark. You are right, my friend. The thing is, there is a little... I'm just gonna... Whoops, cancel this. I'm just gonna change a little something about the source here and make it a little brighter. It's gonna help you guys. I didn't notice, but the problem is there was a very bright sunshine that I can't really block. And basically that bright sunshine made everything very bright here, so I had to change stuff. Problem is, if I leave it automatic, it always looks weird. So here, this should be much better. Thanks to Steve Martin for the comments. By the way, everybody that sends me comments about things that look weird, or it's always appreciated. Lets me know if things should be changed. I'm waiting for new lighting. I'm supposed to have 3 new lightings, because you see here, there's like right here, there's like this big spot of lighting, because I have 2 lightings, but they don't diffuse very widely. So I'm waiting for 2 other lightings that will be positioned so that here is going to be equal in the lighting. I'm also going to purchase eventually soon a lighting that goes in the back here that will make this wall the color I want for live shows. I think it's going to be beautiful. So I'll be able to have a colored wall of any color. So it's going to add a lot of, lighting and colors, which means that things are going to be more evenly spread out in the live shows, by the way. Okay, let's continue on, and we have a email about the expiry of Windows 10. A lot of people get scared with that. Kel Booger is sending me email saying, and Windows 10 support stops or expires October 14, 2025. And I do get mail from time to time about this. So I don't know if I'm in the right slide, but I'll address this issue. Don't worry about the expiry date, because the thing is, Windows 10, okay, we're getting updates all the time. So we are right now in the first installment. So we've got an update in November. We have an update. We just had an update on August 2nd. Eventually, at some point, there's going to be an update. And that update is going to push the expiry date, or the end support date of Windows 10 beyond 2025. It's just that they're not doing that all the time. We're still far away. 2025 is in 9 years. So there's no need to do anything right now. So don't really, it's not something you need to worry about. And some people tell me, well, what about my computer in 8 years? And your computer in 8 years is going to be an old computer. And I always tell people, when they tell me, oh wow, in 9 years that's going to happen. What's going to happen to my computer? There's a good chance in 9 years you won't even have the same computer. That's something you got to also know for sure. What else do we have? I'm just going to check, because I'm kind of, okay, MacBook. I'm just going to, I'm lost in my, in my question stuff a little bit. Okay, what are we going to check out here? Okay, we have some questions. Okay, we have some questions. First of all, we have Paul Smith that asked me, the question that he has is in Burlington, Iowa, in the US. So Paul Smith says, okay, If I use a Linux distro under VirtualBox, can Microsoft still collect data on my activities? What's inside that VirtualBox is, we call that sandboxing. It's stuck in VirtualBox. So what data Microsoft will get is what it will, for example, get data that you're running VirtualBox, but it won't have access to what's happening inside VirtualBox. The only way they could maybe see something is if they would have a keylogger, which, from what I know, is not at all the case. They don't look at what we're typing on the keyboard, because that'd be kind of almost a virus-like. So when you're inside the virtual world in VirtualBox with your Linux distro, you are pretty safe from all the data gathering of Microsoft. The data gathering will not happen on the browsers and stuff because you're using browsers inside of Linux, and they can't see what you're doing there, except for one little detail. If there would be a crash of an app, I would say, suppose there's a crash of an app, because that made me think a lot. I found it a very interesting question. And when there's a crash of an app or something, there's if in your settings you are, if you have, in the, let's just go see it here, in the privacy settings, in Windows 10, let's go to the privacy settings, all settings, privacy. On the left side, there's something about feedback and diagnostics. Now, by default, it is at full. I would change that and put it at the minimum, because there is one thing that they could see from your from being inside the VirtualBox. If there would be an app that crashes, they will take in the full, if you put full data in the diagnostics, they will take a snapshot of what's in RAM memory. So they would be able to see what's happening in your VirtualBox that's recorded or that's being preserved in RAM, because that's in the clear, it's not encrypted. So they could technically see some of the things you would be doing like that. But if you put that option to the minimum, then there won't be any of that sent out. So they're just going to have what crashed, how it crashed, and so on. And that's it. But you are, in general, pretty safe in that Linux distro inside VirtualBox. So, I would say not to worry about it much, because it will, it will be, you're safe from prying eyes. You're kind of in a jail or a prison if you want, and I think that's okay. So don't really worry about it, basically. We have Stephen Mail talking about different things. First of all, I want to talk about, because he's talking about cumulative updates that he seems to have fixed some stuff. He says that that Microsoft Edge seems to work better and everything. Also, he finds, and that's an interesting one, because there shouldn't be a difference. You were saying that in Microsoft Edge, my live show looked better than in Firefox. There should be no difference, though. I don't know why it did that. It's as if your Firefox couldn't get the stream up to speed. I don't know. So basically, sending out video is pretty much the same, and it should be received the same whether it's Chrome, Firefox, Edge, or any other browser normally. Also, you're asking about Facebook Live. I saw someone broadcast on that website. Is that monetized like YouTube? No, Facebook does not monetize any of the content that people put on. But I would really love that they would, because I would start doing a lot of things on Facebook. And I would probably be using, I'd be probably using Facebook Live and YouTube Live at the same time. And it's streaming on both platforms. I would be able to, I would probably either put a second computer with another cam, or use my phone, set it up on a tripod, and use the phone to stream, for example, on Facebook Live. But there is talk about monetization for Facebook. And I got to tell you, I'm really keeping an eye on that, because I'd love to have Facebook monetization. That'd be pretty nice. What else? He's saying that now I know that Vista is still patched on Patch Tuesday, and I do have auto updates on my Vista computer. However, when I click on update, it just keeps scrolling and nothing else happens. Another strange experience, I use Winamp. On the Vista and on Windows 7, there's a glitch that is very bizarre. You click and ask to see if there are some Windows updates, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on without doing anything. And it can go on like that for hours. The same glitch you see there on Vista is also on Windows 7. They're actually on the same core, so we gotta remember that. People on Windows 7 don't know that they're running a modified Windows Vista, basically. Let it go. It won't always do that. You'll see at some point when updates are available, it will eventually, hopefully, show up with updates. And if you've had your Patch Tuesday updates recently, like in the month of August, I think it's working fine. Next week will be the other test. Patch Tuesday is coming next week. So you'll see if yes or no, it's working fine. And what else there is here? I use Winamp for music because of its association with an app called Last.fm, which is a music tracking. This morning I got some strange error message. When I next opened up my Dell desktop computer and opened Winamp, I had deleted all my music files. It had deleted all my music files from Winamp. I was able to rescan, and since I had all my playlists backed up, I didn't lose anything except some of my customizations. The strange messages involved letting me know that I was missing an email association. This is the only computer that I have ever had any kind of problem with Winamp. With switching to a 64-bit version, if possible, help. Somehow my OneNote file got corrupted and now it will not sync. As for Winamp, there are glitches in software, and sometimes it takes just the right mix of settings at the right time, and you get a glitch. And I'm sure if you search for it, probably other people saw that glitch. Would that change? I'm not sure if a 64 32-bit version might change anything about what glitch you've had, but I would suggest that you look at, is there a more recent version of your Winamp software? I used Winamp, by the way, a long time ago. I haven't used it in a while, but I used to use Winamp a lot in the past. I always thought that it was a good piece of software. I like the streaming stuff also on Winamp. So you could try it out. You know, you have nothing to lose to try it out. And if there's a, I don't know if there's a 64-bit version of Winamp. I'm just gonna check it out here. So if I look at Winamp, is there a Winamp 64 bits? Winamp 64 bits. And so Winamp.com, get Winamp, PC and Mac. Let's just check that out. We're not really talking about anything about 64 for PC and Mac. I don't see any for your PC. Not really talking about anything about 64, are they? I don't know. They're not saying anything about a 64 or not, but check out if you have the latest version. I think that's mostly what you'll need to do. Try to install the latest version at least. I think that that will, of course, that might fix. You know, there are bugs in software, so by using the latest version, there's a possibility that it fixes a bug that you have, for sure. What else do we have? First, I want to say that last cumulative update fixed a lot of stuff. He was mentioning that there are a few things that have been fixed, but there are a few things that also have been fixed on the system itself. So for those that haven't updated, it will sorry, I'm just responding to somebody that okay, so regular link works is because somebody's tried the link that I posted, a different link, and basically it just looked weird, and it says that it didn't work, but it does work, so basically it's okay. So okay, we'll continue on. What do we have here? So as that I was saying, last cumulative update fixed a lot of stuff, so you should apply it for anybody that has problems. You should apply it. Also, I have a message from Isabel that says, is Microsoft Edge replacing Internet Explorer 11? Because she says that she's been using Internet Explorer 11, and she's been wondering if there's going to be any updates for, will there be an Explorer 12, or is Edge replacing it? Edge is definitely replacing Internet Explorer. The Internet Explorer brand is going to go away, and basically there will be no more updates except for security updates. Edge is definitely the browser going on forward for Microsoft. So in Windows 7, Windows 8, Internet Explorer 11 is the last version. And at some point, I would even say that it's maybe better for people that stay in Windows 7, for example. You should move on to Chrome or Firefox and leave Internet Explorer 11 just because there's no more really updates except for security stuff. So basically, we are that is getting an old browser basically. And you also are wondering if you ever move to your Edge browser, is there a possibility to import your favorites? Yes, there is. When you are in your Edge browser, it's very simple. You go to your Edge browser like this. On the right side of your screen, you have the three little dots, and here you will have settings, and into the settings here you have favorites. So in favorites you have the possibility to import. You just put a check mark next to Internet Explorer, and it will import to your settings. By the way, Tim Robinson says that Winamp has no 64-bit version. So he says there is talk of them picking it back up again and developing it further. So it's still on an old version apparently. So it seems that Winamp is getting an older music player. He says, I love Winamp and it is my choice of music player. So naturally, I hope the team do indeed pick up, back up and develop it more. So thanks for the information, Tim. It's nice to have somebody checking that out for us. So pretty cool. And so, you know, it's interesting to see all of that. We're going to have some Mac questions in a few seconds. I'm just going to check out Stephen Mail has another mail, says just a brief note to let you know on his Lenovo desktop, one of my main computers, 4 GB RAM, Celeron Core 2. Been acting a bit strange since last cumulative update. First on Edge and Firefox, when I was viewing a YouTube video, it took an extra long time to open. During the live radio show, it buffered out at the beginning, but seemed to be fine the rest of the show. Today I was in Edge just doing some normal browsing, and for the first time since Windows 10, the computer completely froze. We started by pushing the power button. So far everything appears to be alright. Can you speculate if this has anything to do with the anniversary update? Should I do a refresh? To comment on that, I haven't seen people having problem with the cumulative update. I would just stay put just for now, for a simple reason that you know, it's not because there's one freeze that it's necessarily a computer that's going to freeze all the time. A random freeze is possible on any computer. Now you might say, oh, you know, I've never seen a freeze before. Or hang on to that a little bit more. See if it works better. Remember that before you think it's Windows or your PC, think about, you know, buffering on Windows, on videos on YouTube and stuff like that. Could be a temporary problem of your internet service provider. That is always a possibility. So mostly, you know, just hang on, and if it does freeze more or do things that are weird, yeah, maybe a reset of your PC might fix the issue. It could be something going on. But for now, I think, you know, and to complete, by the way, a little bit, because when you were talking about earlier Facebook Live also, Facebook Live is clearly there to compete with YouTube, by the way. It's my firm, you know, Facebook has moved on from posting stuff on a page with text to wanting to have more content. So Facebook is slowly moving in a way that they want to have people post videos. They want to have people do live shows. And I think they're trying to get into the YouTube stuff. And because they are so powerful with all the users, you know what? That could be the first real competition with YouTube. And even worse, if Facebook monetizes the content you put on, that's going to be a hell of a competition suddenly. And unless YouTube and AdSense stop giving the crappy monetization, because I'm sorry, it's crappy monetization. I see it, you know, at the beginning, I had some good monetization, but now it's crappy. I got to say, if Facebook would give better monetization, wow, I can tell you, people would move out of YouTube and go into Facebook. And what's and you can, you know, stream on Facebook Live, and people like that because it's all of their friends are there, so it's pretty cool. Okay, we have Marco that says, hi, love your show. Here are a few questions. Marco's got an old polycarbonate black MacBook. It's on 10.7, OS 10.7. He says, I've been trying to put a more recent operating system, and it seems to tell me that I can't. Am I really stuck at 10.7? Yes, you are, unfortunately. The polycarbonate or the plastic MacBooks, white and black, are unfortunately stuck at 10.7 forever. Apple took this decision about when they released 10.7, then they released 10.8. Mountain Lion, I believe. Wait, that's Lion. 10.7 is Lion, and then there was, I think, Mountain Lion, or I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's Mountain Lion. At 10.8, they decided that because of the graphics adapter inside that MacBook, they would not go forward on. Even though a MacBook, one of those old MacBooks, could probably still run 10.11 today. They're not supporting it. They want you to buy a new PC. Also, you say that you have a MacBook Pro that is about 3 years old, has artifacts on the screen, and crashes with cryptic error messages. And one of the things I got to say about this, okay, my phone is ringing. That's somebody that's not understanding that I'm doing a live show right now, because everybody knows. So there's a series of MacBook Pros from that era that basically have a problem or an issue, because I've seen a tremendous amount of MacBook Pros from that are about 2.5 to 3 years old that have these weird screen artifacts. It seems to be overheating of the graphics chip. What I would do, I know you're out of warranty. If you've got an Apple store, go to the Apple store and get mad if they don't give you what you want. Because, I mean, these are $2,000+ computers. And a 2 year or 2.5 year old $2,000 computer, I'm sorry, it should be repaired for free. I've had some people that I've told them that got some success. Some got it for free. Some were proposed, okay, give us your MacBook, and for $300, we'll give you a newer, refurbished MacBook Pro. And so try that out, because I think you've got one of those MacBooks that have a lot of problem. And yes, Mary Ellen Parker, we'll call it passionate. I like that. She says, I know you weren't mad. I am the same way. Let's call it passionate. Exactly. Okay. Also, you say that you've got a third MacBook Pro, and that one has, from time to time, not always, 3 beeps at startup. That's RAM that is problematic. So, you know what? It's very easy to go to examine the RAM modules. You can do it yourself, even if you're not very good with computers or you're not very manual. It's extremely simple. You just turn it over. There's screws all around. Remove all the little screws. Remember that there are 3 longer screws that are in the back, that they have to go back there. So you got to just be careful. Mark where the longer screws are so you don't break anything, because they got to go back where they were. Take the cover off. It might be a little rough because they've put some plastic stops that prevent the cover, because it's very thin, to go touch the electronics. And sometimes they kind of get glued a little bit on the cover. So when you pull it out, just pry it out slowly, and you hear it's going to do like thump thump, and you'll see that they're There could be the plastic stuff, the plastic stoppers might still be in the cover, by the way. And you'll see the RAM modules are there. Just unclip the RAM modules, of course, while the computer is off. That's very important. And reseat them. It seems that there's a lot of MacBook Pros that what's happening with the time is that the RAM modules get problem of electrical contacts, and just removing them and reseating them inside is going to fix your problem. So check it out. It could also be that a RAM module itself is defective. What I suggest to do, if it beeps, remove one, power on your computer if it works, okay. Remove the other one, put the one that you actually, just switch them, but leave only one on. Reboot your computer. If one of them makes 3 beeps, the other one doesn't, you know that the one that's actually defective. The one that gives you 3 beeps is defective. And you can go to any store. It's in the MacBook Pros in the past 2-3 years. It's typical PC RAM modules. But you can also order it from Apple if you want. Sorry. And you'll have hopefully fixed your Mac computer. Sorry guys, having a little when you're talking for hours kind of has a little effect on my vocal cords. So as we continue on with the show, and let me just check out here, got a little just make sure that everything is still streaming correctly. What else do we have? Okay, we have Albert Zappa that has, I see that you're using Pod Player. I used it today and I get it to play DVDs, but I have to do several clicks with File Explorer and was wondering if there is a way to insert the DVD and have it open right away in Pod Player. When I click Control Panel for Autoplay, it doesn't give Pod Player as an option. The only option I get is my Real Player and Windows Media Player. I have Pod Player set on as default player. Thanks for your time. Yeah, it happens sometimes that it doesn't show up. So if you're in Windows 10, let me just check here and we'll check Autoplay. If I look at Autoplay settings and system settings. If you're in Windows 10, in system settings, you should have, okay. So if I look at removable drive, which is a DVD, yeah, you're saying that it's just, it's just not letting you choose. Yeah. What I would do is reinstall Pod Player because it should appear in the list. Also, remember that in Pod Player, if you put a DVD and it doesn't start, you don't have necessarily to go into your File Explorer. On the upper left corner of Pod Player, there's a menu. And in that menu, you can go into where did I go? You can go into Open and simply say Open DVD, and it should actually open your DVD right away. So you don't have to go into File Explorer, but reinstall it because it here it appears in my list of programs for autoplay. I do have Pod Player showing up. So maybe reinstalling it and restarting your computer and trying again. If all fails, I'll be checking into that, but you can go into the menu on the upper left corner of Pod Player, click Open, and click Open DVD. And hopefully that's going to be at least easier than going through the File Explorer. in your computer. Okay, we have another Stephen. Not this time, it's not Stephen Mail. We have another Stephen, which is Stephen F. So we don't know his full name. That is asking about a few things. First of all, he says, high-speed internet connection is expensive. I am a low-income user. I don't have a lot of money to spend, and I find that these bills are piling up. Do you know of any options for low-cost internet? I live in the state of Iowa in the United States. It's very difficult because I don't know exactly all of the internet providers in your area. One of the things you should check if it ever happens, I know they put a stop to it, but what you would like probably is if Google Fiber would be in your place. If Google Fiber is in your town, they have really, really low price compared to regular internet service providers that are very expensive. I gotta agree with you. You know, just here, my internet, I got 60 megabits down and 10 megabits up, and I've got limited, no data cap, so unlimited internet access, and that cost me like $80 a month. So it's very expensive to have internet connection of good quality. So check around. Be careful about these small companies you might see that offer internet for a lower price. It's not always a good deal. But I do have to agree totally with you on one thing. Internet service is expensive, too expensive for what it is actually, because these companies are making a lot of money, and you know what? It's just incredible that they get away with it without nobody, you know, doing anything. Government's not kicking in. It's just incredible. And unfortunately, as a tech guy, I've seen a lot of poor families that I fix their computer that are on horrible connections because they just don't have the money, or they're, you know, even not even having internet. I know people around me. I have friends that you know, don't have a big amount to spend. They live alone. Rent is extremely high, and you know, they're basically not. They don't even have internet at home. They take their laptop or their smartphone and they go to free Wi-Fi hotspots and use it from there. So you know, it's pretty amazing. Also, you have a question about your speed, saying that why is my internet 100 megabits per second when it's plugged in? I have 70 megabits per second on Wi-Fi. Does that mean my internet is going to be slower on Wi-Fi? Here's the thing. First of all, depending on the Ethernet card you have today and the devices you have, you can have 100 or 1,000 megabits per second. Wi-Fi, now, on Wi-Fi, often you are close to that, if not more today. But first of all, your internet connection is very slow compared to the connections you have here. So chances are you're not on a 100 megabit per second connection on the internet. You probably have 5, 10 megabits per second. So whether you're here or here doesn't change anything for you, because these numbers are higher than the numbers of the internet speed. So for example, this computer here is the computer I'm using here is a gigabit card. So if I plug directly to my modem, I could have 1,000 megabits per second from the modem. But my internet is 60 megabits per second. I don't have any advantages of doing that. It just will be at 60 megabits per second. That's my internet speed. Now on Wi-Fi, I connect 130 megabits per second. These cards on all my computers don't want to go higher than that. And it's okay because I'm at 60 megabits per second. So being at 130 is higher than 60. I'm not losing anything in speed. And finally, you're saying that you have slow transfer of files when you're on network and on the wireless, which is normal. Wireless transfer speed is often slower than plugged-in speed in between computers, especially in my case, for example, with gigabit connections. If I have two computers that have gigabit cards, I transfer between these machines when plugged in directly at 1 gigabit per second or around. Here, if I'm on Wi-Fi at 130 megabits per second, it's almost 10 times slower. So it is much slower to transfer a file. And of course, if I would transfer tons and tons of files that are very big, I'd be plugged in instead of being on any other type of connection. You are watching the live show. We're going a little over because I started a little late. Patreon.com/radioandcomputers helps me a lot. If you want to donate, if you love my live shows, it's very much appreciated. PayPal for immediate donations if you want to go through PayPal to the email address you see here. Helps continue with the show, helps me buy new equipment. You know, you just heard that I'm waiting for some new lighting here to have some background. You know, that's what I'm doing with this money, is I'm buying equipment to make things better. So basically, it really helps. And thank you for everybody that has donated already. Like Tim Robinson says, I always say, if you're able, use a cable. Yeah, you know, if you're next to somebody that has one computer and is right next to the modem, you know, I would always be plugged in if it's not the fact that I like being around the house everywhere with my computers. If we continue with questions that are coming from Samuel. Samuel says, hi, few questions for you. Love your live shows. Please continue doing what you're doing. Samuel has, the first question is, when he's got some friends with some problems in Windows 10, what could he try and to help them if possible before they might actually go back in time in a to their previous operating system? Things to try before you go back, of course, make sure that the install was a clean install. So I would make sure that, you know, you reinstall, reset the PC and remove everything. You know, that's a really big problem because a lot of people don't want to do that. They're lazy. They don't have what it takes. Because it's true, people are very lazy with their computers. And basically what happens is that they don't want to go back in time because they don't want to take the time to put all that music away and, oh my God, my programs, where I'm going to find the programs. And the thing is, the majority of people that have problems is because they upgraded and kept everything. And when you clean install, make sure that nothing from the past is there, almost always works perfectly. It's not a glitch in Windows 10. It's always been like that with every version of Windows. That's the way it is. So have them do a complete reset of their PC in the settings. Make sure that they remove everything. They don't keep any programs or anything. And then slowly look at how the computer is working before you're going back. That's the biggest thing. Make sure all the drivers and the for the hardware is up to date. That could be another very, very important thing. He says also what he says is, what are my takes on, you know, some of the things that are and the problems that are in Windows 10. You know what? There are some specific hardware that have problems. That I've seen, and the more I look into the people that have problems in Windows 10, the more you see a pattern of specific settings or specific ways that the computer is set up, and the problems are there. There are some specific areas, and that's why Microsoft set up some machines for specific that are very, very specific in how they are made, and basically that will enable them to really pin down the problems. So, it's kind of nice to see at least that, but there are some specific issues. And one last thing that I got to say is, if for anyone that actually goes back to Windows 7 because they have issues, there's something wrong or whatever, or just you want to go back and maybe come back at a later date, if you've activated your copy of Windows 10, you'll always be able to come back. You have secured your copy of Windows. No problem there. Random questions that I got from Sylvia. Sylvia says, hi, love your shows, love your videos. I especially love your tips and tricks, and I do enjoy watching your news bulletin every day. It is interesting and different from what I see elsewhere. You seem to choose more of what's the more interesting news, and not stay on what everybody else always talks about. Continue the good work, and here are some of my questions. So, is Windows 10 going to be still the last version of Windows? For now, it seems like it. We're going to have a Windows 10 that's going to continue updating. One thing that I wouldn't be surprised is that the number 10, would be removed at some point. That's quite possible. As for the expiry date, because you're mentioning also the expiry date that our friend earlier talked about, don't worry, that will change at some point. We're still 9 years away from 2025, and basically, at some point, that date is going to change. And finally, you say that your son has decided to try the Insider program, but he finds that the Insider previews of Redstone 2 seem to be pointless with no new features, and he was wondering why it's like that. Well, that's the thing, being an insider means that you are there to test software. So basically, yeah, there's no new stuff, but being an insider doesn't mean that you only have new stuff. Being an insider means you are going to test every part of the development of Windows. So basically, no new new features, but still the core has been tweaked, the core has been changed. Thing is, with the core that's been changed, there could be bugs, and that's what they want us to try and find. So that's what's happening with these builds. So you should not think about it in the term of I'm an insider because I want to see new features. You should think about it more as I'm an insider because I'm going to test and make sure that this is going to be the best Windows for the next update. That's unfortunately a lot of people don't understand that totally, basically. So thanks for your question. We have other questions by Vernon. Vernon says, hello, first time that I'm writing. And he's got some of the following questions. By the way, when you guys and girls write for the first time, let me know where you're at. It's fun to know where everybody is around the world. It's always cool. So your first question is Linux really very secure? Is it much more secure than Windows? What are your thoughts? Linux is secure for a simple reason. Linux is secure because it is a very small chunk of operating system around the world. So the bad guys don't take the time to really write bad software, malware, viruses, and ransomware with Linux. So in general, yes, Linux is probably more secure than Windows if you keep it updated, because that's very important. Linux has updates all the time. You have to keep your version updated. And so because there's very few viruses and ransomware, it's probably more secure most of the time, as long as you keep it updated. But like every operating system, if you have an old version of Linux that you've not updated for a long time, it could be almost, it could be unsecure, and you could have some problems with the operating system. And remember, people put a lot of energy in saying, well, I'm using Linux because it's secure, or I'm using a Mac because it's secure, better than Windows. Number one security is you. And you know what you do with your computer makes it secure. So I would add that a lot of users that just are careful with what you do are probably as secure, if not more, than a Linux or a Mac user. Also, even worse, I would say that a good user of Windows is more secure than a bad Linux user. Running VirtualBox, I did respond to this, and finally, Microsoft Data Gathering in Windows 10. That comes from Sergio. Sergio says, I'm scared of upgrading to Windows 10, and I did not upgrade. Everybody talks about how Microsoft is snooping on us. Do you think it's that bad? Like I said, I've talked about that a lot of times. Like I've said, it's something that is very controversial. I gotta say, Windows 10 is, yes, the Windows operating system that sends the most data out to Microsoft of all Windows versions. Yes, it does. But you know what? You gotta stop thinking that everybody gathering stuff on us is always doing it in a bad way, or it's a bad guy, basically. You got to be careful and stop thinking that, Microsoft, I don't believe, is using that in any bad way. It's using part of it for ad if you're in a Microsoft account in Windows 10. It's gathering a lot of telemetry to see what's wrong or what's right or what to change in Windows. And, you got to think also that what the hell does Microsoft have to gain in viewing everybody's life on their computer? Absolutely nothing. So you know what? You can go into the settings and the privacy, turn off everything, but at a minimum. And you know what? When it's at that level, there's actually not that much information. Yes, there's still data. One security researcher was saying that what he'd like is a off switch, meaning that it doesn't send nothing. But what people are not actually saying or understanding is that there aren't any operating system that sends zero data back. All Linux versions send some telemetry back. All Mac computers, your iPhone, Android, everything sends telemetry back to the company. There is no such thing as not sending any info on any operating system. So when you put the slides at off and you put the diagnostics telemetry at the minimum, you're pretty much sending out the standard stack of data to Microsoft that any operating system is sending out to its own maker, basically. So here we go. I've went through the questions. I have a lot of questions that came in today. I'm sorry. We're going to go next week. And one that I want to just mention, Steve Martin talking about his folders in the anniversary update. Promise, you're the first one that I'm answering next week. Okay? I promise, and I'll work hard to find a solution and check out what's happening with the double folders and stuff that you're mentioning. So next week, Steve Martin, we have Viper the Bookman, we have Tim Robinson that has a question. You have Brendan, also what do you have? Patrick Manny and Carol. So we're just gonna go through these often. Check that out soon. I'm just gonna, one question about that Carol says, why does it seem that videos on YouTube always seem to buffer continuously, even at low resolution during certain times of the day? Even though I have 30 megabits per second connection, is the bottleneck on my end or on YouTube's end? You know what, Carol? There's a lot of things that can make the videos on YouTube buffer a lot. Your internet service provider is one. It could be that because, 30 megabits per second, that's the connection between your modem and the other modem of the connection at your end. But there's a lot of stuff happening inside your internet service provider. There could be a space somewhere where there's kind of a strangle, a bottleneck, and the data is strangled there, and there's just too much. And you're mentioning certain times of day. On cable, especially on cable, there are some sharing of lines. So for example, in a cable connection, you might be 300 in the same pipe, 300 users. And depending on the time of day, that pipe does transmit a lot of data because all the users are there. For example, in the evening. So there are times of day it's possible. YouTube might sometimes have problems. I rarely have buffering of YouTube videos here, but it could happen. It could happen. I've seen that happen from time to time. So it could be your end. It could be your ISP. I don't know what computer you're using. Remember that if your computer is a certain number of years and it's working hard to do what you want, remember that your computer has to do what it needs to do, plus stream all that data and show it on your screen. So it could be your computer. Is your computer, for example, working hard? Do you hear the fans running all the time? Maybe your computer is having difficulty doing all of that together. It could be, like I said, your ISP, so internet service provider, somewhere there's a bottleneck. It could be in the interconnections between all the different servers on the internet. All of that is possible. There are some internet service providers that are worse than others. For example, I had noticed that YouTube videos, I had more problems when I used to be on Bell Canada internet service provider. And when I moved to cable with Videotron here, I didn't have any buffering anymore. So all of that is possible, and part of it could be your ISP. You want to test a little something and see. When it starts buffering like that, if you've got your smartphone and you're using a laptop, connect to the internet of your smartphone and see if when you're on that connection, because you can share your connection with your smartphone, does it still buffer? If the buffering stopped, it's your internet service provider that's the problem. So take care, everyone. See you next week. And at 6 p.m. in just about an hour's time, the history of Apple computers on the same link, youtube.com/theofficialwindows8/live. Hopefully everything is going to work fine. And so at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 2200 hours UTC, if you want to learn a little bit about the Apple computers history, it's an interesting one. Microsoft was interesting, but Apple is even more interesting because there's ups and downs in the Apple history. It's all happening in about an hour's time. And for those that love this show, every Tuesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 1900 hours UTC. Take care, everyone, and hope you enjoy the show. Bye-bye.